The night was still and heavy with silence. The wind whispered over the River Jabbok, and one man stood alone beneath a sky full of stars. His name was Jacob. But before dawn, he would face something far greater than fear. He would face God himself. What happens when a man wrestles with the Almighty? This is the story of Jacob, the man who wrestled with God. Long before that fateful night, Jacob's life was marked by struggle. He was born clutching his brother Esau's heel, earning a name that meant deceiver. From the very beginning, Jacob desired what was not his. He tricked Esau out of his birthright and deceived his blind father Isaac to steal the blessing meant for his brother. And when his lies were exposed, Jacob ran, fleeing into the desert away from the home he had broken. For 20 long years, he lived in the house of his uncle Laban, where the deceiver became the deceived. He worked 7 years for the woman he loved, only to be tricked into marrying her sister. Another 7 years followed, and Jacob learned the pain of deceit. Yet, through it all, God's hand never left him. He grew wealthy, strong, and wise. And finally, God called him to return home. But between Jacob and home stood Esau, the brother he had betrayed. And Esau was coming to meet him with 400 men. Fear gripped Jacob's heart like iron. He divided his people, sent gifts ahead, flocks, camels, silver, desperate to soften Esau's anger. But this was no longer just about Esau. It was about Jacob himself. That night, he sent everyone across the river, his wives, children, servants, and flocks, until he was completely alone. The desert wind whistled through the trees. The moon cast its pale reflection on the dark waters. Jacob knelt to pray, trembling under the weight of his guilt and fear. And then, from the shadows, a figure emerged. No words were spoken. Suddenly, the man lunged at Jacob, and the two crashed to the ground. The struggle was fierce, silent, and strange. Hours passed, dust, sweat, pain, and determination. Neither man yielded. Who was this? A thief? An angel? A messenger of death? Jacob did not know, but something deep within told him this fight was divine. As dawn began to break, the mysterious man touched Jacob's hip, and agony shot through his body. His leg was wrenched out of joint, and he fell to the ground, gasping in pain. The stranger said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." But Jacob clung tighter, tears mixing with dust, and whispered, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." There was silence. Then came the question, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. The man's voice broke through the dawn, steady and powerful. "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." Jacob froze. His heart pounded as realization dawned. This was no ordinary man. This was God himself. Trembling, Jacob whispered, "Tell me your name." But the man only smiled and said, "Why do you ask my name?" And there, in the rising light of dawn, God blessed him. Jacob fell to his knees, pain burning in his hip, but peace flooding his soul. "I have seen God face to face," he whispered, "and yet my life is spared." As the sun rose over the river, Jacob stood. He limped now, but that limp was no curse. It was a mark of divine encounter, a reminder that he had wrestled with heaven and survived. Across the horizon, Esau appeared with his men. Jacob bowed low to the ground, each step heavy with humility and pain. But when Esau saw his brother, he ran to meet him and embraced him. No swords, no revenge, only forgiveness. The deceiver had become a new man, the man who wrestled with God and prevailed. His name was now Israel. Jacob's story is not just his, it's ours. We all wrestle with God in our own ways, with our fears, our doubts, our guilt, and our faith. Sometimes the battle leaves us limping, but those wounds are proof that we've encountered God and been changed by him. Jacob's limp became a lifelong testimony that strength is born in surrender and victory often looks like brokenness in the hands of God. The night Jacob wrestled by the River Jabbok was not just a fight, it was a rebirth. He entered as a deceiver and left as a nation. He entered with guilt and rose with grace. And if this story stirred your soul, remember, there are more like it hidden within the pages of Scripture. Stories of men and women who faced God, failed, and found redemption. Subscribe to Word Heroes and keep discovering the forgotten, the powerful, and the life-changing stories of the Bible.